This year started off with a lot of uncertainty. We didn't even know who was going to be the nominee for the Democratic Party. There was speculation across the board. I would say that with this past November, we now do have certainty, especially considering it appears that our movement is the popular mandate, which is refreshing. It's a relief. And boy, that day, November 5th, came and went so quickly. None of us expected this. We thought we would be dealing with this for a week or so. But here we are now with a bit more certainty, but still not necessarily knowing what's going to happen in the next year. You got crazy stories about SUV-sized drones flying over New Jersey. I heard a story, some guy said one landed on the highway as he's driving past it, and that flew up in the air and took off. These people, I've heard those stories more than once. But of course, I think the big thing we're trying to figure out now is this transition. What's going on with it? And Matt, I gotta say, we heard that you were gonna be the top cop. And the moment I heard this, if you guys watch the show, you saw it, I immediately ran to Allison and Richie, and I said, do we have any champagne? And we jumped in the Cybertruck, me and Richie, we sped off to a liquor store, and I said, sir, give me your finest champagne. He said, here it is, it's $40, and I bought it, and we popped that on the show to celebrate. It didn't come to fruition. But Matt, we really do believe in you. We think that you have the opportunity to do so much good, and you have done so much good. So let's just get it going with what's next and what can we expect?
Why, all this time, I was wondering who jinxed me, and now I know, damn it. You went and popped the champagne before I had the chance to be confirmed by the Senate. Look, Donald Trump has changed our politics. The movement that we have built that is multi-generational, multiracial, is changing the way we are fielding candidates and winning elections. But don't kid yourself into thinking that in early November you changed Washington yet. Because there remains a repository of people in that town, some of them Republicans in the United States Senate, who actually want Trump to fail. They don't want this to be a durable, lasting enterprise. They're hoping this is like a kidney stone that they just have to painfully move through the system, right? And when you look at some of these folks, and we can talk about who they are, they had calcified a good deal of opposition against me, and the Attorney General position is unique in this regard. It's not the Ag Commissioner, though that's important. It's not the SBA or the Department of Labor, because day one, Donald Trump has a plan on the economy, on the regulatory climate, on the bureaucratic state, and on the largest deportation in American history, and he had to have an Attorney General there day one, and I am proud that Pam Bondi is going to be that Attorney General, and I think she's going to do a splendid job for this administration and for our country.
Did you know her before?
No. We both served in Florida together. We were elected the same year in 2010. I was the chairman of the Criminal Justice Committee when she was the state's Attorney General. And what we bonded over was our love of animals. We passed some of the strongest protections for animal welfare in the state. We have some of the toughest penalties for people who abuse animals. I think that she's got a good head on her shoulders. She's got a great relationship with the president, and I'm proud of her.
Do you think you would have liked that job?
Oh yeah, I would have loved that job.
Do you think
really
DC would have liked you having that job?
I think that there were a lot of people concerned about it. And what you watched above the line, right, where people say, we have questions about Gaetz's experience, or we don't like this or that about how he talks or tweets or his character. But really, I saw the lobby corps mobilize in pretty unique ways. Big Tech did not want me to be the Attorney General. And they have 3 lobbyists for every single member of Congress, and they deployed them against me. Big Pharma, the big defense industries were worried that I would animate the antitrust division at the Department of Justice to go after some of the excesses in corporate power. I think the #1 threat to your liberty is big government. The #2 threat to your liberty is big business. And obviously the #3 threat to your liberty is homeowners associations.
So Matt,
it's great to hear.
Just really quick here, Matt.
Actually, Al-Qaeda started as a homeowners association.
I absolutely believe that, especially in Florida. But really quick, if you were the Attorney General, what would be your first piece of business? Who would you go after first?
Well, I think that the first thing you have to do is effectuate the deportation. And you're going to have all kind of states and municipalities doing everything they can to achieve some injunction in like the Northern Mariana Islands that they try to spread around the country to freeze the presidency in that effort. And so I think the number one thing you have to do is build resilience against some of the plans that these blue state governors and blue state attorneys general have.
Now, is there any part of you, I don't want to be the glass half full guy, but I guess I am here. You've been in elected office since you were about 11 years old, I think, and you've been through all these brutal, bloody fights. There's so much awful nonsense that goes with being an elected official. You can't really make much money. Everything you do is under constant scrutiny. People are always trying to attack you and demean you and your whole family. It's awful. And so I understand the AG job would be extremely fun and cool and awesome. But is there any part of you that says, wow, I'm not in the government anymore?
Any part of me that thinks that understands that Madison held the role of citizen as the top role in our society, not congressman or senator or president. And so I have very much enjoyed the promotion from congressman to citizen these last few weeks. But here's what we know about our movement, and it's distinct from what we've seen in politics in yesteryear. This is not a movement that is driven by some cabal of special interests in Washington or New York. There's not power brokers who centralize who gets to run or who gets to win. This is a diffused movement, and that's what makes it durable. That's what will make it lasting. And so I actually think there are roles for all of us to play throughout the enterprise. I mean, look at what you've done. Look at the audience you've built. Look at the way you activate people to go and engage with their beliefs and to actually challenge a lot of the dogmas that have kept people paralyzed for so long. And so I think we need those voices throughout. And who knows, Michael, maybe one day I'll run for the United States Senate and you and I can make a podcast together and then I won't be so damn poor. Like Ted Cruz.
That's the way to do it.
So, but this is my, go ahead.
No, even on this point, it's kind of funny because, you've made the shift now to political media, which is great, by the way, as someone in political media. But I remember when we launched Verdict with Senator Cruz, this was the first political podcast, I think, for a sitting legislator. And the ethics rules are the elected can't make any money. So the podcast was doing very, very well. I mean, it hit #1 on the charts for a while. We were above Rogan. I would never have said Ted Cruz was going to beat Joe Rogan on the charts. Somehow, for a little bit, he did. But it did make me think. I was like, wow, the only guy who's not, really enjoying all the fruits of this is the U.S. Senator. And I get it. It's a separate, that's a great honor to be a member of the U.S. Senate. It's a great honor to be a member of Congress, to be up for a job. But I don't know. Part of me thinks there are seasons to life. And you might run for Senate. You might run for president. I don't know what you're going to do. But maybe being in the private sector for a while, maybe that will be enjoyable as well.
And I do think that when you get people who never live under the laws they've written, it creates a disconnect that builds resentment appropriately among all of us. I think, like you say, you take your turn in, you do your work, and you live an honest life beyond that, and you never know when the bell rings again. May ring again in January. Who knows?
This is the
hold on.
the big fear that I've been.
I just have to ask before, because he's teed it up. You floated the other day a plan that I really, really loved on Twitter. You said you're an elected member of the next Congress. So what you could do, if the members of Congress still want to mess around with you, you could vote. You could enter Congress on January 3rd. You could go in. You could get involved in the speaker race. You could start maybe pulling out some of the dirty laundry from the current and former members, and then you're still ready to start your show on January 6th.
You can nominate Elon Musk to be Speaker of the House.
It would be the most entertaining thing that had happened in Congress, at least in the past 6 months.
Yeah, since the last time I did something like this. No, the thought has crossed my mind because in the way the organizing Congress works, first, the clerk calls the roll of everyone who shows up with an election certificate, and I'm pretty sure mine still works. And then after the roll is called for the speaker is sworn in and then swears in the body. And so some have suggested that if the speaker races are kind of my thing, it's kind of what I do. And so maybe we'll be in Washington that day to see that there's a speaker election that serves the country well.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.